As has been said, the theme of the conference is about building connections. So firstly, I would like to start by offering my thanks to our hosts for allowing them to build the connections with their beautiful city and also all of their colleagues. It's been a great opportunity to meet with you in person. Secondly, my stomach would like to say thank you for the wonderful food that we experienced at the conference dinner last night. And then finally, I think on behalf of all of us, I would like to think that our minds have been connected with the wonderful range of talks and knowledge that we've acquired over these 2 days. It's truly been inspiring and a broad range of thematic areas for research and education that are relevant to us in our daily lives. What I perhaps would like to talk about, though, is how we sustain those connections. Once we've built them, how do we sustain those connections? For Azerbaijan, the Academy of Science and the NREN there, and its organisation, and the status it has within the EaPEC project, its connection with GÉANT as a membership organisation, allows access to forums, the infrastructure that we have and we enjoy today. But our minds have been full over the past couple of days, so I was having to think, how could I leave you with a small gift to give you an association or a memory that you can take away and remember about what is GÉANT about, what is this collaboration, what is this community. So I'm sure many of you have played with these dolls as a child, and you know that one stacks inside of the other. So I want you to think about 3 dolls when you remember me, and we're going to talk about network, services and people, and I'd like to describe the GÉANT collaboration and our community's collaboration in those 3 dimensions. Let's start with the smallest one, the precious doll, first of all, that much of our history is built around, and that's the networking infrastructure. We've heard a lot over these past couple of days around big data, the ability to connect and communicate, and it's a great asset that we have in this networking space. I can tell you all over the next few weeks the connectivity to Azerbaijan will increase to a 10 gigabit connection, so it will put them in a position of readiness to sustain and support their future data challenges. That connection then interconnects with the GÉANT network, and in that GÉANT network we've spent over 50 million euros over the past couple of years investing in infrastructure that's capable for some of these future demands that we've heard about. We've also done that in a way to be more energy efficient and respond to the green challenges and the sustainable development goals that we've heard about in recent presentations. Of course, science, research, education is a global activity, and that GÉANT network interconnects with other networks all around the world. So through that 10 gig connection, that precious network, that small doll in the middle, then AzScienceNet are able to connect on a global basis. And as has been described as well, the importance of the quality of that network. This is designed for the research and education community case. So that's the first doll. Let's look at the next doll. And this is about the services. These services come as a function of working as a community, of working as a collaboration and a range of service areas. We have the network area that we've spoken about. This is probably quite familiar to you. Then the range of security tools. We've heard in the presentation around the demonstration of attacks on cybersecurity simulation in nuclear reactors. Well, the network operations and the community is equally susceptible to cybersecurity. So we make sure we have a range of tools and services that are available for you as a community to sustain your operation in a secure environment. The trust and identity, student mobility. I'm pleased to report that AzScienceNet are now a member of the EduGain Federation. Through that mechanism allows their community, their users, to have the mobility across the entire global network for research and education. And then finally, the range of cloud services. This is perhaps our newest addition in our portfolio of value to our community. Just as an example there, on the last item, through our aggregation of demand, we can present our interactions with commercial market players. The use of commercial cloud services is a massive growth area for our community. You can see there in 2021, 47 million euros was spent by our community in commercial cloud services. And through the deals that we've brokered as a community, those are available to give you preferential terms and ensure that the services are secure for the use by your users in the missions in the areas that we've heard of, spoken of. So on to the third and final doll. Here I would like to talk about people. I've described a continuum here from formal to informal because I think it's important to recognise that our community and the people works at different levels. Through our working relationships, we build friendships, and those relationships are equally as important as the other end of the spectrum, where we operate in formal governance meetings, where we oversee projects that we subscribe to and committed to with bodies like the European Commission. In the layers between, I would encourage your awareness of something called the GÉANT Community Programme. Here, like we have over the past couple of days, we create a space where people can come together, share knowledge and experience so we can learn together in a fairly informal, relaxed way. All of these things are available through those 3 dolls stacked together and the collaboration for Azerbaijan research education with the GÉANT Association. So I leave with just one final slide, which is perhaps some thoughts on what the roadmap may be to help ensure this sustained connection continues. I thank you very much for inviting us to be part of the conference with you here and to facilitate this collaboration. Thank you very much.
And continuing with the community topic, I would like to invite a prominent member of our community, Raimundas Tuminauskas, Head of Network and Services Infrastructure Department at PSNC Poland.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. I'm supposed to talk about the challenges for the NRNs. However, I would kindly ask you to bear with me while I'd like to do some really improvised beginning of the presentation in my capacity as the chair of the program committee for this conference and the one to blame for all the for whatever you may have as a concerns for this for the program itself. I would like to first of all express my gratitude to the and reflect, because it has been some journey, and that journey started a way ago. It started more than 15 years ago with something called Porta Optica study, and it started even more time ago with NATO initiatives for the connectivity of the region at that time in the Central Eastern Europe and also Caucasus. I would like first of all to thank Mr. Jacek Gajewski, who is present here after so many years, for working on these initiatives, for working in the region, for relentless effort to have the connectivity and to advance the research and education network in the region. Thank you so much. I would like to thank local hosts for having this conference, for making this happen, for keeping up with the events of the pandemic through more than 2 years and postponing the conference and retaining the initiative. I would like to thank the team of organizers, the team of Incredibles from the GÉANT, led by incredible Steffi Bosman, who really made it possible and kept us in the program committee working and concentrated on the task. I would like to thank project officers, Irina and Ieva, working and keeping the project going and finding the new initiatives, finding the new topics, new challenges for us to work on. I would like to thank most of all the program committee, who remained in almost the same during these years, with the postponing and renewing our work from time to time, considering the new term, the new conference, and finally getting there and weaving this event into colorful local carpet that will, I hope, that will be a present that we can consider as a present to all of us. So, thank you. Now, I would like to get on with the presentation, but not all of it, because, of course, there are challenges to the NRNs, but that's what we are good at. So I would like to give you a food for thought for future when you think about your position, when you think about yourself, and to provide some framework for evaluation of your position and identifying what would you like, what actions do you need to take depending on where you are. So when we speak about the sustainability, the definition I found on the Wikipedia is the ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level. And that, for me, in any organization, actually it is a balance. It is a balance between the challenges and meeting those challenges with the capabilities and available resources, adequate resources to implement. And some time ago, being somewhat of the bicycle rider, you know, when you ride the bicycle, you know that the balance is important, and it depends on the various conditions. It depends on the road, it depends on the wind, on the temperature, and depends on your capabilities that day as a cyclist. So that is how I look at what are the changes to the road, what are the changes to the wind, what are the changes of the internal condition that are current, that require adjustment of that balance. And in the Irina conference this year, there was a forum of CEOs who looked in this sustainability, and they identified it more, probably, they provide more detailed definition of the sustainability, which does not in any way contradict. It says that sustainability encompasses all key aspects that ensure NRN's ability to continuously ensure positive impact on society. So, with that, how do we evaluate? I prepared a couple of slides with the potential sort of factors for the changes of the conditions, but I will not read through them. I would like at the end of my presentation to give you my suggestion of the framework, how to evaluate your position against those factors. And that is not something new. It uses the magic quadrant. And if you put the requirements or challenges, if you will, on one axis, and you put the NRN capabilities on the other axis, then you have the framework to look into and to put yourselves on that map. So there could be any type of other thinking. It's very high level, it's not detailed. So essentially there are few areas that you may consider in this quadrant. So the best area here is where capabilities meet the requirements, and we are at a good position in terms of growth. We sustain growth. We have a good track record of sustaining the growth for 30 years. There are areas where either we have slightly over-provisioned capabilities for the various reasons. There are areas where the new challenges requires us to improve our capabilities, to step up. And there are areas for with a certain risk zone, I would put that this way, that demand an action. So if we look at the factors, at the challenges, so the challenges drives our position from here, from the comfortable zone, into the zone where we need to step up the capabilities. And when we do that, we are back to the comfort zone. However, there's also the risk, because we don't know what we try to predict, but we don't know what the road lays ahead, that we end up in growing our capabilities. That is not necessarily a bad thing. That we need to work with the community. That requires work with the community to identify the new challenges, to engage and to look how these capabilities may help to improve the scientific process. Because this is a journey that does not have a perceived end. There will be no situation when there will be no scientific problems to address. There will always be scientific problems to address. The science, the progress, I hope, will continue. And if you identify yourself here, that is where you have to look for the action which is required more immediately. And that action may be what Paul has said, that you need to work more closely with GÉANT, you need to work more closely with the policy makers. You have to, depending on where you want to go, depending on the direction you want to proceed, you can identify your actions. With that, I thank you for your time, and I wish you a nice evening today and a nice upcoming time, and see you at the next conferences, next EAP events, which some of them will be quite soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Raimundas. Now I'd like to thank the host and give the host a word. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Rasim Alguliyev, Vice President of Azerbaijan Academy, National Academy of Sciences.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ieva, dear guests. Ladies and gentlemen, let me officially express our thanks, our gratitude to GÉANT leadership, GÉANT command, and EaPConnect leadership managers, simultaneously to European Commission relevant structure on digital development in Eastern Partnership. Secondly, I'd like to express a common opinion of Azerbaijan Republic on science and education community, because of, to be honest, this event is holiday for Azerbaijan. Everywhere in social media, in all corners of society, people have been talking about this conference. Even a lot of people, before we had some problems to invite people to this opening ceremony, now people during these 2 days, they had some information about this conference, about the task of this conference, about importance of this conference. Some officials phoned me why organizing committee didn't invite them to this important conference. What I'd like to, this common opinion deliver to your attention. Secondly, for me, it is a usual event because of before I had taken part in some events in different our partner republics. Yes, in every country, this conference had own importance. And from Azerbaijan point of view, this conference, I'd like to share two goals. First of all, it is international conference. Yes, we have listened, we have heard a lot of good presentations, scientific results, especially in every almost in every presentation, we have seen that artificial intelligence, new technology, third industrial revolution, digital twin, cloud services, modeling, etc. All presentations I appreciate on highest level. Second goal of this conference, I can say that that conference was focused on Azerbaijani problems because we had some chance to discuss Azerbaijani problems and leadership of GÉANT. Personally, my colleague, Mr. Erik Hüser, he arrived to Azerbaijan. Before that conference, he spent his time. He came to Azerbaijan. He had good meetings with decision makers in the field of science and education in Azerbaijan. And I think one of goals, one of results, achievements was that meetings, because of during these meetings, Mr. Erik Hüser, on behalf of GÉANT community, GÉANT association, he had delivered good ideas to Azerbaijan state authorities. I think further after this conference, we will have good chance to improve this ideology in Azerbaijan, and especially in the condition of digital transformation, especially. Plus, we have another reality that now in Azerbaijan, science and education was partially joined, and we have new ministry in Azerbaijan. Since July this year, we have new Minister of Science and Education. That is why all this process, all this networking process, AzScienceNet, AzEduNet, maybe another some intranet, some different maybe networking structures, they will be united, will be national, some infrastructure for science and education. That is why during this conference we had good meeting on the name CO track, where we have listened to good presentations from positive from those countries which have positive experience. I appreciate all these presentations, and during with participation of representative of European Commission and leadership of GÉANT, relevant high-level representatives of state authorities, and some countries, some interests of some countries, they had presented good their experience. I think we will use their experience too, and for next steps under support GÉANT, EaPConnect and relevant structure, I think we will mobilize all of our resources, and we will be one of active parts of GÉANT association. Secondly, during opening ceremony, as you mentioned, as you remember, we invited to opening ceremony almost all rectors of universities, plus leaders of scientific institutions. We had good qualitative auditorium in front of them, having information, having their problems on behalf of that scientific and educational community, I applied to GÉANT, European institution, European Commission, maybe directly, maybe I know that it doesn't belong to GÉANT, but European Union representative in Azerbaijan was here. And European Commission officials was here. That is why I express common opinion on problems on shortage content in Azerbaijan, because we have good opportunity. Without GÉANT network, we have internet access everywhere, everybody. Somebody told that 85% of Azerbaijani people has internet access. I can say that more than 100. Every person has some devices in hands. Everybody has, every corner in Azerbaijan, in every territory in Azerbaijan, we have access to internet. But we are waiting for, from GÉANT, another quality information, scientific information, access to electronic libraries. We would like to have access to Web of Science, Scopus, Springer, PubMed, and another. I know that all these resources are commercial, but I think European Commission could consider our willings because of, as I mentioned, every country has own problem. In some country, maybe that infrastructure, that network infrastructure, yes, for them it is useful. But in Azerbaijan, we have some content gap in this case, and I again repeat that asking in front of the European Commission, relevant structures pay attention to Azerbaijani these needs. Finally, I'd like to express my thanks local organizing committee. They are as military, some teams in front of GÉANT command. We work together. All jobs which was dependent on us, we tried to make better and to get this good result. Once again, on behalf of Azerbaijan officials, on behalf of Azerbaijan National Academy of Sciences, and on instruction of Minister of Science and Education, I express my gratitude to you, to officials from European Union, to GÉANT, to relevant structures, EaPConnect, and to our guests who found chance to come to Azerbaijan to have some impression about Azerbaijan culture. Azerbaijan, as you mentioned, Mr. Paul Rouse, about stomach, everything is okay. Azerbaijan cuisine, culture, nature, city, architectural, modern, historical, everything is okay. And welcome again Azerbaijan too. Don't forget Azerbaijan and share Azerbaijani culture everywhere, because of Azerbaijan has big treasure. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rasim. Now I would like to invite Irina Matthews, EaPConnect Project Manager at GÉANT.
Good afternoon, everyone. I've given it some thought how to finish, what to say at the end of the conference. And I probably will do kind of, something like in the beginning is the end. And the conference comes to the end, but it's not the end, it's the beginning. And at the start of the conference, when I introduced the EaPConnect project, I mentioned that the project focuses around implementation of improved, strengthened, extended network infrastructures. So it is about technology, it's about implementing computer networks. And this is true, this is what the project is about. I also mentioned the fact that EaPConnect conference is part of the project activities. And you think, what is the connection? Why conference? Why organizing conferences if you are implementing networks? And the reason is the connection here for us is there. And the connection is that technology in itself doesn't do anything. It doesn't bring any benefits. It doesn't have impact on society. But it does when. And the proof of that is every single talk, every single presentation that was shared with us during these past 2 days is the evidence that none of this would have been possible without technology. Every single scientific initiative or the project that has been mentioned over the past 2 days is not down to one person. Some projects are huge. It's like Maciej shared his project about digital heritage infrastructure for digitizing cultural heritage in Poland, and it involves 16 partners, right? And this is not obviously the largest scale project. So, but all of this shows us that the impact on society is driven by people. It happens when technology delivers the tools to do these scientific activities, research, education, discoveries, exploration, collecting data, all of these things. And to all of this to happen, people work together. Yeah. So EaPConnect project, yes, it's about implementing computer networks for the purpose of making impact on the life of people. So, and the impact happens when the power of technology is multiplied by the power and the size of human networks. So therefore, EaPEC conference is part of the EaPConnect project. Yeah? And that's why we, program committee, after consultations and discussions, settled on the name of the title of the theme of the conference, Building Connections, because this is what it is about. This is what the conference aims to achieve, to allow people to grow and extend the human network, because this is where our strength is and where the future of societies lies. So thank you very much for attending the conference. Thank you so much for the speakers, wonderful speakers and beautiful array of speakers. I cannot not say that, but huge thank you to our host, AzScienceNet and the management of Academy of Science of Azerbaijan, and wonderful, wonderful teams of people who made the conference happen, and believe me not, it's more than one team. And talking about connections, these are the people who come from various countries in Europe. And of course, our colleagues at AzScienceNet. Without their support, none of this would have happened. So it's about the power of connections. So the conference comes to an end, but let's continue building connections. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now please welcome CEO of GÉANT, Erik Hauser.
Thank you, Ieva. So this is the end of the conference, so I can finally take off my jacket. That's, you know, if you have to be official, you have to wear the jacket all the time. And people who know me know that I don't like that. I am truly grateful for a very good, inspiring and a conference. And like the speakers just before me have said, it is about connection, and especially between human beings. And if there's a, there it is. It was so great to be here, right? And I truly can say that this picture reflects how I feel about being here in Baku, in Azerbaijan. I think now what I want to do is to say that we discussed many things, and as at my start I said there's some recommendations that we should discuss. Paul referred to them in his lecture, and we've written this up into a recommendation statement, which I will send as a result of this conference to AzScienceNet to make sure that we leave a message as the conference, as a gift to AzScienceNet, and I hope that AzScienceNet can take this. I've already explained this to the Deputy Minister, so I hope you can take this and use this to your benefit. And with that, I like to ask for a couple of applause. First of all, I think for the local host, if you would please stand up. I think Rasim, thank you very much. I think we've got to know each other much better in these days. I really appreciate your hosting this. But I also want to mention Babek. Where are you? He's over there. The man in the background doing a lot of work. And, of course, the rest of the staff of the Institute that helped out doing the registration desk, etc. Please stand up and get an applause. Yeah, there must be more of you. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Don't be shy. Stand up. And thank you very much for your help and for your contributions. Very much appreciated. I think everything went flawless, so you have done a really great job. Thank you very much for that. The PCO, if they're here in the room, thank you for your help. Of course, I have to thank my own staff, the people who helped out in this, to organize this. Steffi, Rosanna, thank you so much for your contributions, and applause for you. And finally, I think the biggest applause is for Irina as a project manager for organizing this. Thank you all, and see you hopefully at the next EaPEC conference.
And thank you all for attending, for being part of this conference. That's a wrap.